Hi everybody. I just posted a little quote on Facebook saying, today, talk to your spouse and children in a way that keeps their significant self-esteem and security intact. Now, and it made me think about doing this. Now, I know some of you are working, so you probably can't watch this while I'm talking, but that's good. Great. Anyway, you could watch it later. One of the important thing to know is that there's three aspects in our lives that are so important to us: our significant self-esteem and security, and all of us are dependent on those three things in order to keep ourselves stable and in balance. We need to feel significant. In other words, we need to feel like we are contributing. We're significant. We're making a contribution to society. We make a contribution in our job. That then helps us feel that we are contributing, and then it builds our self-esteem up and makes us feel secure. If we are in any way doubting our security, we feel insecure, or our self-esteem is being broken down by people speaking to us in ways that break that down. So in other words, if you say are working at a job where your boss constantly criticizes you, runs you down, makes you feel like you're stupid, calls you names, tells you they're going to fire you, constantly berates you in front of other people, then that breaks your significance down, makes you feel insecure because they're constantly threatening they're going to fire you, makes your self-esteem go down as well. So what would you do if that was the case? Now, most of us would actually probably just find another job, especially if you find a job where like just say you're speaking to your brother or someone and you tell them how terrible your job is, and they say to you, well, look, I mean, I work for this company and this is what they do and this is how they treat us. So anytime somebody offers you that sense of significant self-esteem and security, you're going to move towards that person or that job or that relationship. So if you are in a relationship where the person is constantly making you feel insecure, breaking your self-esteem down, making you feel insignificant by things that they say and do, then you are going to want to move out of that relationship. If you continually stay in that relationship, eventually you're going to be totally downtrodden and not be able to contribute to anything and not feel very good about yourself or even about that relationship. So you want to examine whether that relationship is fulfilling those three aspects. Now, the key is that we need to be responding to each other, especially in our marriage and especially towards our children, but you can apply it to any form of life. If someone is speaking to you in a way that constantly, now I'm talking about constantly because, I mean, obviously sometimes there's always going to be times in our lives where we make a mistake and we make a person feel insignificant, or we say something that is, makes him feel insecure or breaks his self-esteem down. But I'm talking about consistently engaging in ways that build the other person up, not break them down. So talking in ways and doing things, responding to people in ways that are going to build them up, not break them down. So speak in ways. So ask yourself this. If you want to address something with your children, if you want to address something with your spouse, or if you want to even address something with an employee or an employer, ask yourself this before you start the conversation. How can I say this? How can I phrase this? How can I respond to them in a way that's going to keep their self-esteem, their security, and their significance intact? No one can tell me that if you respond in a harsh way, in an aggressive way, and it's like really in your face, that is going to build someone's self-esteem, significance, and security up. If I'm gentle, I'm not talking about being a wet blanket or, having someone walk all over you. I'm talking about learning to respond in a Christ-like way in situations where you don't allow them to take advantage of you or tread all over you, but you actually say, even though they have responded to me, so even if my wife or my children respond to me in a way that doesn't keep my significance, my self-esteem and security intact, I still choose, because it's still my choice, I still choose to respond to them in a way that's going to keep their significance, their self-esteem and their security intact. it takes a bit of adjustment, it takes a bit of work, but think about it, the benefits that is going to have on your relationship. And remember what we're wanting to do. This year, we're wanting to upgrade. We want to upgrade our relationships in our marriages, our relationship if we're dating or engaged. We want to upgrade our relationship with our kids. We want to move our marriage and our relationship from good to great. We want to move our lives from good to great. So one of the things to do in looking at that is saying, okay, how do I need to change the way that I've been responding to people? Am I aggressive? Am I too soft? Don't I have boundaries? Because that's also a thing that needs to keep your own significant self-esteem and security intact. You need to build up your own boundaries. You need to have boundaries that keep people in the right place, and that they understand what those boundaries are. So think about it. Just spend some time contemplating. Ask yourself the questions. Do I respond to people that generally makes them feel significant, builds their self-esteem up and makes them feel secure? So this is what I did a couple of years ago when I first started developing this concept. I spoke to my daughters were quite young then, so they may not have appreciated the whole deal, but Mandy did, of course. I sat Mandy down, and I sat both the girls down individually, and I just asked them the question, or just one question. What am I doing in this relationship as your husband, as your dad? What am I doing that makes you feel insignificant? Or is there anything that I'm doing that hurts you? Is there something that I need to do better? And I allow them to tell me that. And sometimes they don't have to tell me that straight away, but I allow them to come at any time to tell me, Dad, that makes me feel insignificant. My wife will say, Love, that makes me feel insignificant, whatever. And then I choose to respond in a healthy way back to that and say, okay, well, I'll change it. As opposed to taking that as negative criticism and them attacking me, because I've given them permission to ask me that. Or to respond to those things. So to tell me that, Dad, you are. So, and I'll end off with this, but I was in the shop a couple of years ago, about 4 or so years ago, and I've always had a problem, not so much anymore, but I used to have a bit of a problem with a temper, and you get easily frustrated. And I was in the shop with Lauren, my oldest daughter, and she could see I was getting irritated with the service. There was nothing at all. So I was starting to just mumble under my breath. And so she just kind of just sidled up to me a little bit and just leant over and said, Dad, please don't get upset. Now, I could have responded by saying, well, look, if you don't, I'm upset, leave me alone, go and, look at the sweet aisle if you like, but I'm going to cause a scene here. Or I could actually take into consideration how she feels and then respond accordingly. You see, when she says that, and I respond in a negative way, it breaks her significance down. Because what she's saying is not important. She doesn't feel significant. So her words, her voice is not important to me. I've broken it. Which then has a ripple effect of her self-esteem and insecurity. Because if she can't trust my voice, because I'm her father, if she can't trust my voice, she won't be able to trust other people's voice, especially other men's voice, because I'm her link to that. I'm her link to her future husband's voice, and future men's voice, future leaders, future people who are going to be in her life. So what am I building up? Now, as I responded to that, made her feel, so that says to her, that speaks volumes. What you're saying is important to me, because I said, okay, fine, I'm sorry, I won't. And I just calmed down, and I never got frustrated. That builds, so now she trusts me. So now she will come to me to talk to me about stuff. She'll ask me questions, she'll ask me for help, she'll ask me for advice. Because over the years, I've built up that trust that she can trust me. That when she asks me something or says something to me, I'll respond in a way that hopefully will build her self-esteem, significance, and security up. So there you go. Significance, self-esteem, security. Ask yourself the question, how can I respond in a way, or how can I speak to this person in a way that keeps their significance, self-esteem, and security intact? God bless you, and remember, continue moving from good to great.